When it comes to one of the top tourist destinations in the world, the United Kingdom is never behind. There are plenty of notable indigenous sites to explore for their iconic landmark and breathtaking coastal views. One of these iconic sites is the Exeter Cathedral. Exeter Cathedral is one of Europe's great medieval cathedrals and the most significant building in Devon. The megastructure houses a number of religious and historical relics, making it a significant cultural and historical site in the United Kingdom. Due to its unique architectural designs and preservation techniques, the cathedral sparks the interest of archaeologists, and certain concealed truths are being discovered. The tale of the Exeter Cathedral, steeped in history, continues to uncover itself in whispers of the past. The Exeter Cathedral is a notable artifact that tells its own tales. Exeter Cathedral has dominated the skyline of Devon County for over 900 years. Being a prestigious historical site that holds secrets from the past, archaeologists are always curious as to what the next discovery might reveal. Ranging from its unique architectural design to the various artifacts of significant importance, you can't help but wonder how all these became a possibility in ancient times. This discovery, however, serves as a doorway into the past, uncovering mysteries and debunking old beliefs. But before we uncover the new finding that has archaeologists all grinning, let us take a trip down memory lane to the genesis of the prestigious Grand Cathedral, as it is of great significance to the recent discovery we are about to unfold. The cathedral was founded before the Norman conquest by Saint Edward the Confessor in 1050. Construction began in 1114 in line with the era's characteristic Norman architectural style, taking over 70 years to complete. The oldest surviving sections, including the twin towers and part of the nave walls, are from the 12th century when a large church was built under the supervision of William Werelwast, the second bishop of Exeter. This building saw service for about 100 years until it became too small for the congregation, and grand work on a replacement began. This lasted for another century or more and was completed shortly before 1400. The redesign incorporated some of the earlier churches, and with the addition of more features, it became the only example in Europe of a decorated Gothic building, characterized by elaborate traceried windows and relatively slender supporting walls. It also boasts the longest unbroken stretch of Gothic stone vaulting in the world. Subsequent changes were largely superficial, limited to the installation of several chapels and cloisters. Being a renowned asset to the country, one of great importance, it is usually seen as a target for attack in times of conflict. The Exeter Cathedral has often been subject to damage following events occurring during the dissolution of monasteries, the English Civil War, and the Second World War. The building recorded the highest degree of damage during the Second World War in a German bombing raid in 1942. This raid was called the Baedeker Blitz, after running through a series of German tourist guidebooks to identify targets. The intention was to cause destruction to Britain's cultural and historical cities. Thankfully, many of the cathedral's important pieces, such as the ancient glass including the Great East Window, the Misericords, the Bishop's Throne, the Exeter Book, the ancient charters, and other precious documents from the library, had been removed in anticipation of such an attack. Since then, the building has gone through a series of refurbishing. Archaeologists at Exeter Cathedral recently made some new discoveries from their latest investigation of the 900-year-old building. They made the discovery while excavating the cathedral's choir, a space at the center of the church that houses the choir stalls, high altar, and the bishop's throne. The excavation took place in the choir as part of the cathedral's 2020s development project supported by the Valencia Communities Fund through the Landfill Communities Fund. This restoration project, which focuses on the choir area at the functional center of the holy building, aims to preserve the structure by replacing a 20th century concrete floor with more traditional building materials. The dig took place ahead of the installation of a more environmentally friendly underfloor heating system. This was done to reduce damages caused by trapped moisture in addition to lowering the cathedral's carbon footprint by reducing energy requirements. It was during this recent dig that archaeologists found the buried floors of the Norman cathedral. These floors were last seen about 700 years ago, with the original high altar where priests stand during sermons. The foundation of the Exeter Cathedral's high altar, which is the most important and usually the largest altar in the church, was laid during the original construction 900 years ago. Surprisingly, the original high altar was not the only discovery encountered during the dig. Behind the altar foundation to the east, archaeologists discovered a deep backfilled area that is presumed to be a subterranean crypt. Archaeologists believe that the crypt was filled in around 1300. However, this discovery contradicts the long-held belief that the Exeter Cathedral was originally constructed without an inner crypt. Traditionally, architectural historians believe that the cathedral lacked a crypt primarily because it was built on sandy and marshy soil, making it unstable for this kind of structure. The archaeological team branded this as the most exciting archaeological discovery ever made at Exeter Cathedral. However, that is not all. Another shocking discovery was hinged on this uncovered crypt. While digging through the backfill, archaeologists discovered 2 empty tombs, each lined with stone. They suspect that the graves belonged to 2 bishops of the Exeter Cathedral. It is believed that the bodies were transferred from their original burial place in the Norman choir. The first of the 2 tombs discovered in the crypt was that of William Brewer, the Bishop of Exeter, in the 19th century. He was a judge in England during the reigns of King Richard I, his brother King John, and John's son Henry III. Brewer was a prominent administrator and influential figure in medieval England. Respected for his political acumen, Brewer's close association with King Henry III enabled him to wield considerable power and influence, advocating for royal interests. He was a major landowner and founder of several religious institutions. In 1204, he acquired the feudal barony of Horsley in Derbyshire. The second of the tombs belonged to William Werenwast, a distinguished bishop in the 12th century and a nephew to William the Conqueror. Werenwast was a powerful bishop of the Exeter Cathedral, known for his towering intellect and bold leadership qualities from 1107 AD until he died in 1137 AD. Being a renowned nephew of William the Conqueror, Werenwast's familial ties to the Norman conquest and subsequent rulers of England contribute to his historical significance. His life and actions have provided valuable insights into the social, political, and religious dynamics of medieval England. Now that his tomb has been found at the sacred center of Exeter Cathedral, it opens a doorway to further findings about this period in English history. A number of interesting facts have been uncovered on this same digging expenditure. Pieces of modern history were also retrieved. The team found fragments of a 1962 edition of Exeter Express and Echo newspaper, dated March 28, 1962. Staff at the cathedral say that the newspaper, which was found tucked away safely under the cathedral's canon treasurer's seat, was most likely left behind during a previous building conservation project in the 1960s. While lifting stones and concrete, the archaeological team also recovered fragments of medieval tiles that were designed in the 19th century by an architect named Sir George Gilbert Scott. After the installation of the heating system, the restoration team plans to cover the choir floor with locally sourced stone tiles, inspired by Scott's design. Scott had originally created 4 tiled floor designs in Exeter Cathedral, each increasingly more elaborate as they approach the cathedral's high altar. Scott's original designs have been largely replaced with simple stone flooring during the 1960s conservative work. Today, only one of Scott's original designs remains in the choir of the cathedral. These interesting and exciting discoveries are not the only remarkable finds in the cathedral space. In an earlier dig, archaeologists investigating the cathedral's historic cloister garden discovered the remains of several Roman-era structures, including an early Roman street, timber buildings, and a wall of Roman townhouse. These findings were described as new clues into Exeter Cathedral's distant past. A cathedral archaeologist named John Allen said, "The street and early timber building date from 50 AD to 75 AD, formed the elements of the Roman legionary fortress, which underlies central Exeter. The timbers may have been part of a long barrack," he added. The wall of the Roman townhouse dated to the 3rd and 4th centuries AD was also found under the foundation of the medieval cloisters that were destroyed in 1658. In 1970, it was also revealed that the site of Exeter Cathedral has a heritage stretching back into Roman times, when archaeologists uncovered the remains of one of the best-preserved Roman bathhouses in Britain. The Exeter Roman bath site was recovered after discovery to ensure preservation until such a time when it can be safely opened to the public. For a building that is 900 years old, you would definitely expect to find some notable ancient relics. Being a renowned tourist site, the Exeter Cathedral is packed with a number of unique and yet interesting features that hold significant meaning. Another significant artifact of international importance in the Exeter Cathedral is the bishop's throne. Dating back to the 14th century, the throne, or strictly speaking, the architectural canopy, which covers the throne, was actually the idea of a man named Walter D. Stapledon. He was the Bishop of Exeter from 1308 to 1326. Stapledon was a man of enormous power and ambitions. He contributed immensely to the creation of the Exeter Cathedral that we see today. His lasting legacy, however, is the group of spectacular fittings he commissioned for the choir. They included a sedilia, a reredos behind the high altar, and the stone pulpitum from the early 14th century. Work on the bishop's canopy began in 1313. A medieval architect named Thomas of Whitney visited Exeter for a month just to select the timber to be used, and was almost solely responsible for its design. The construction of the canopy lasted from 1316 to 1317. Once planted, the throne canopy was almost certainly painted and gilded. Standing nearly 60 feet tall, it is the largest bishop's throne canopy ever constructed. Another notable artifact of reverence that sits on the cathedral wall is the astronomical clock. The Exeter Cathedral astronomical clock is one of the group of famous 14th to 16th century astronomical clocks found in England. The main lower dial is the oldest part of the clock, dating from 1484. Before you freak out, misericords are wood carvings on the tip-up chairs. The choir contains a collection of 50 misericords. These 50 misericords are the earliest complete set in the United Kingdom. They date from two periods between 1220 to 1230 and 1250 to 1260. They depict the earliest known wooden representation of an elephant in the United Kingdom. The Exeter Cathedral is one of Europe's great medieval cathedrals, the most significant building in Devon. The Gothic building houses a number of invaluable artifacts within its walls. What part of the video did you find most intriguing? Is it the original cathedral altar from 700 years ago, or the discovery of the crypt that is said to hold two prolific martyrs, or the old Roman structures? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.